Thank you so much. I'm Jeff Champlin from Bard College, Berlin. I teach literature and political philosophy there, and I'm also associated with the Hannah Arendt Center at Bard College more broadly. And it's my pleasure to introduce these winners of the inaugural Alpine Fellowship Prize. We've thought of this event today in terms of two interventions along the theme of displacement and language, and then I'll ask a question or two to kind of maybe spread some ideas or get the conversation started that then you can continue over lunch and the coffee breaks and so forth. I'll begin with the short introductions of the scholars. Christin Alhalabi is an artist, storyteller, polyglot, alchemist, and anthropologist to be. She's originally from Syria, but a nomad at heart, having lived in 3 continents and 6 countries in the past 9 years. She's a recent graduate of Bard College Berlin, and we were very proud to hear that following her graduation this spring, she was accepted to the anthropology master's in Oxford and has received a full scholarship. And yes. And I would like to also introduce Amarachi Precious Chukwukezie from the Anambra state in Nigeria. She was born and raised in a very small community in Lagos that she calls the Trenches. In 2021, she moved to Ukraine to study psychology, and she was there when the war broke out and fled Ukraine in 2022 to enter Bard College Berlin, where she's now studying ethics and politics. We'll begin with Christine.
Hello everyone, can you hear me? All right, awesome. I'm Christin Alhalabi. I'm so happy to be here with you and be able to share this little story about my home village, as well as language and life. Yes, okay, I'll get it. Oh, okay, now I hear the difference. So my talk is titled Sacred Communication. And it's a little story I wrote out, so I'm just gonna read. And yeah, so a few years back, I had a dream that still revisits me today. I was walking in my parents' village, Breki, the same walk I had taken with my cousin Marina endlessly when we were 7. The moon was full and prominent, just like when we saw it clearly in the village's sky, which went to bed at 9 p.m. I was alone, however, and I was unsure about whether or not this was a dream. It was so vivid, it felt like I slipped through the veil that separates dreams from reality. The moon was harvesting, and it was harvesting my memories. I sometimes have cartoonish dreams because I'm an anime lover and a visual artist. The moon was vacuuming the same street where I ruined my flip-flops walking too much with Marina that we forgot time existed, and finishing the night with an oil-drenched za'atar sandwich, which is the best thyme and sesame combination you could try. I would recommend it. We used to go the exact same street up and down because her parents didn't let her wander far away from home. Meanwhile, I'm a city girl, born in Damascus, in Jaramana, and I have been living most of my life in Sweda, Syria, coming to my parents' village without them on what now seems like an anthropological field trip. Going there as a visitor allowed me to romanticize the kind of life that has carved up the hearts of my loved ones without being so immersed in it, or so I thought. Through these extended summer stays, I experienced firsthand what my mother passed down to me through her stories of hardship and what she transmitted to me intangibly through her body, which I share. I didn't know what ancestral healing was at the time, and I took my time intimately to get to know what I now call generational trauma. This was communicated to me without words, beyond words. If words were a vessel through which we conveyed meaning, my body was the ultimate vessel. Other people's memories were written all over it, and the moon was vacuuming them away. If you know the video game Super Mario, You might remember Mario and his friends jumping up and hitting floating block in the sky to get money. Well, my memories, my parents' memories, my grandparents' memories, and their own parents were also hung up there, like a floating gallery in transparent flying blocks. I was passing through them, witnessing everything, making plans about taking some blocks home to melt the obscuring shield, barring me from truly seeing. I desperately wanted to understand. Around the time of my grandfather's passing, a few months before this dream, I had another dream that also felt telling. My grandfather was trying to deliver a letter to me, but right when I opened it, I could no longer read. The words became a total blur, and they flew away. This time, I was shown something, and of course I held on to it with all I've got. But the moon was vacuuming them away, and I was trying to be fast. After I applied for asylum in Germany in 2015, the frequency with which my memories communicated to me increased. Exile taught me to introspect, dig deep, and uncover, bringing up my attention to unnoticeable wallpaper of my childhood. Of course, I spoke. أني نطقت. نطق in Arabic, in my dialect, literally means to vocalize. It's not the same as speaking, where you comprehend of what you're talking. This is how we refer to children who speak of their past lives before they even know what reincarnation is, when they are too young to make it up. They don't necessarily conceive of what they're saying logically, but they vocalize it. They act as a channel for something incomprehensible to them. They are a vessel for God. I remember her, the woman I was in my past life, the singer wearing a shiny baby blue dress right before when she was killed with a gun in her throat, and dogs eating up her legs. People who speak are usually ones who have traumatic death in their past lives. Now I understand that her cause of death is not random. The throat is the center of personal power and personal truth, which is why I'm meant to be here speaking to you now. I'm bored of telling the story of my uncle Wasim, who has still visited his family from his past life, in which he was called Muwaffaq Abu Fakhr, and whose orange picture in front of the same tractor that killed him I've seen in our family albums. When I asked my grandma about it, she simply said, "That's your Uncle Wasim from his past life, Muwaffaq Abu Fakhr." These were ordinary things in my childhood, but when I went on international boarding school in the Netherlands in 2017, I suddenly had to rationalize them when people asked me about the religion I was born into and what sets it apart. I gave a presentation in a class called Theory of Knowledge, in which I explained reincarnation in a scientific frame and reduced it to elusive attempts at avoiding grief and holding on to a potential life after someone dies that makes us not truly come to terms with losing the ones we loved. I diagnosed it as an attempt to avoid grief. I was frightened of what else it could be, because as a young atheist then, I had no vocabulary other than those of science and rationality to rely on. You might be wondering, what does this have to do with language? Well, nothing and everything. Because this is not language. This is the space outside of it that language cannot even attempt to pinpoint. If you imagine the universe as a vast quadratic-shaped chart, language is just a tiny circle contained within it. Language as a rational tool for systemization that we use for subjugating the uncharted forest of the universe fails to encapsulate the spiritual, the lostness. This generational knowledge was communicated to me in words. But when I was supposed to explain it to a stranger, words did not suffice. I ran away from lostness for most of my life, and its incomprehensibility frightened me. When I was exiled, I didn't understand. Why me? Why did I have to leave my country to go through that kind of pain? But at the end of the day, incomprehensible pain dates back to much earlier. At 11 years old, I didn't know why my mother's back was aching so much that I massaged it with my elbow as a little kid because my palms were too small. She was carrying a non-physical burden that neither of us had the language for. There had to be a reason why our guts inflamed at injustice. Maybe naming feelings is a step towards healing. That's when language comes in handy. I used to think of my pimples as my angry ancestors coming back at me. I even pinpointed in what now I realize is called a vision board, but yeah, I get more pimples since then, but anyways. They would be mad at me until I set free their own anger that I held on to. I know that the reason my dad's thyroid got so big that his body couldn't contain it anymore, so he had to remove it surgically, is all the unspoken anger he never could voice. Speaking out is essential to generational healing, but communication is more than language. So much was communicated to me just by being a physical vessel on this earth for my soul and the souls I chose to help and learn with and from in my lineage and beyond. So much was communicated to me by being born on a particular spot of earth and drinking its waters, because water is a medium for memories. My hanging memories showed my interconnectedness with everyone who has come before me, but the moon was vacuuming them away to communicate to me that it was time to heal. This is why I decided to call my talk Sacred Communication. Although much of what I've shared started from a series of heartbreaks, it's simultaneously about transmuting pain, which makes it sacred. These painful experiences have been my intuition guiding me on how to live this life and serve love. I believe that I chose it all. Language has played a role, giving me words to process my experiences, like keys that unlock doorways to new levels, such as the word grief, but also the word gratitude, and also non-language. My body and the body of the earth are some places I hear and with which I keep conversing, without language but energetically and in vibrations. I heal with every good song, every time I beat my drum, my pandeiro, every time my heart beats, and every time I'm aware of that beat in others. Sounds are vibrations. Flowers have a magnetic charge that signals to bees that they still have nectar, and once the nectar is taken up, the charge gets cancelled, so no bees approach. The moon orchestrates ocean waves, and we are part of this intricate structure, part of what we perceive as lostness, much of which we cannot tangibly capture in words or confine in a chart. I realized this during my study abroad year in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, from which I came back 6 months ago. This experience was such a heart opener for me because in Rio, the spirit of nature was so majestic, so prominent that it was impossible to ignore. People were in touch with their hearts, creative on a soulful level that's evidently in touch with a long tradition of fighters who turned pain into beauty, who transmuted pain, alchemized pain. Samba, drumming, tens of kinds of dances, and candomblé. Rio de Janeiro was a host of all of these gateways to healing. Nature, the hills, the ocean, the trees have an outspoken spirit that often conversed with me and enveloped me like a little cocoon that birthed a new, vibrant version of me. I consider Brazil to be my spiritual homeland and birthplace. We need all these ways to communicate, to truly get this life, like a game of Super Mario. Logic is not enough. We need to be in awe more often at ourselves, at each other, at nature, and at witnessing the soul in everything and everyone around us, even the inanimate stuff. To do so, we need to radically witness our heartbreak. I believe that healing is radical witnessing before anything. And after we witness our heartbreak, we can jump out to embrace this lostness rather than reluctantly hold on to what we know and repeat to ourselves in reductive sentences. In Arabic, we have a saying called الغريق بيتعلق بقشة, which means the one who drowns holds on to any little thing, even a little straw. But maybe we don't need the straws because we can just be in this ocean. In my life, heartbreak has proved to be the gateway to beauty and gratitude, and it's way beyond language, although I'm so grateful for language as a tool to allow me to share this with you all. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Christin. We'll turn it directly over to Precious for the second presentation.
Thank you so much, Christin. That was so deep. Yeah, I know. I love love, and I'm a major fan. Major fan. I adore people who are in love. And I enjoy the idea of people remaking themselves for one another in the name of love. I love how when people say they're in love with someone, you don't have to question them because you can see how their eyes light up when you mention the person. I love love, but never did for me. I never knew how I could love someone that much. Maybe I imagined it, but I never admitted it. For that acknowledgement, I am reading a love letter to someone near to my heart. Nigerian Pidgin English. Now I know Pidgin isn't a person, but its closeness to my heart and the connection we both share tops every connection I've ever had with anybody. Language is indeed a means of communication with other people. But we don't very often talk about how language communicates with us personally. The feelings we get when we hear certain languages are languages' ways of communicating with us. For me, Nigerian Pidgin brings feelings of safety, assurance, and comfort. When I hear and speak Pidgin, I feel at home. It's like wrapping myself in a warm, familiar blanket filled with stories, wisdom, and humor from my culture. In case you're not familiar, Nigerian Pidgin is a Creole language that has evolved over time. It blends elements from various languages in the ethnicity of Nigeria, including English, to create a unique and vibrant means of communication. It is widely spoken in many parts of West Africa and serves as a lingua franca among diverse communities. Pidgin originated during the colonial era when different ethnic groups needed a common language to communicate with each other and with European traders. Not new. Over time, it has become deeply involved in our daily lives. It reflects our culture, humor, and shared experiences. It is a language that is rich, expressive, and full of life. I can't stress that enough. My relationship with Pidgin is one of deep affection and cultural connection. Growing up, Pidgin was the language of my home and my community in Ajegunle, where I call the trenches. It was the language in which stories were told, jokes were shared, and wisdom was passed down. It made me feel safe, understood, and connected to my roots. However, my journey with Pidgin hasn't always been smooth. In school, teachers often forbade us from speaking Pidgin, insisting that we use English instead. To them, English was the language of success and sophistication, while Pidgin was seen as inferior and unworthy of formal education. I was forced to communicate in a language I wasn't entirely comfortable with, and this limited my ability to express myself fully. When Ngugi wa Thiong'o said that language is not just a means of communication, it is also a carrier of culture, this resonated deeply within me. When I speak English, I feel a disconnect because it does not carry the essence of my culture. It lacks the idioms, the expressions that make up the fabric of my identity. In contrast, Pidgin is a true reflection of who I am. It is vibrant, dynamic, and full of cultural richness, Again, I can't stress this enough. When I speak Pidgin, I feel a sense of belonging and authenticity. The words come naturally to me. I don't struggle to find words, and I can paint clear pictures of my thoughts and emotions. For me, Pidgin has the power to convey feelings of safety, assurance, and solidarity that English often fails to capture. I'm reading a letter where I acknowledge my rocky relationship with Pidgin in the past, and I finally embraced the language for its significance to me. Now, I'm going to read this letter in Pidgin English because it would be a huge disrespect to Pidgin English to read a letter I wrote to it in English. So, sorry but not sorry if you don't understand. My love letter. How far, Pidgin? I want yarn you one matter. This is our relationship. I remember how it started, though. From time to time, they will try one day my side. But based on the association we surround you, I tried in my lane, make I for no stain my white. Normal. Me and you know say now who no go school, they cherish you pass. At least now waiting I believe with that. Sometimes I dey wonder why you still did this relationship safe. Nobody go like stay for where they no want them. Me and you dey like rice and chicken stew. Sometimes rice they disguise as jollof rice, make it for posh. But deep down, you sabi say na him and chicken stew go well pass. Him sabi say with jollof, na just temporary disguise. Him go later go back to chicken stew, where he feel at home. The same way rice no fit do without chicken stew. E don dey look like say I no fit do without you. As e be like this, I don't hold on to you like say we be one piece. Now only you they make me stand out for the crowd. If no be you, I for don't lose my identity. No be cap. I don't turn one of the people who oppress me. Them say you no correct. You no get grammar for school. But you paint a picture with every word. You dey break every rule. Now you dey break the class divide for society. Now you dey make the poor fit access the rich. You no dey discriminate at all. I no believe say you go ever get time where I go speak you without fear of judgment. Without fear, say class captain go write my name for misconduct. Nothing sweets me past to hear you for my daily life. Oh. Now because of you, I dey fit get up every day. Because the minute I hear your sounds, then they remind me say I no dey alone for this part of the world. Then they remind me say I dey part of a community, and that community they wait for me gidigba. All these years, I don't run away from you, just because say I won't belong. Them say language na tool for communication. To me, you pass that one, no. Now you they make me rep myself, rep my culture, even my identity. If you know they like this, nothing special go dey about me. I go just be the same as the crowd. Now you they bring me the most peace at J. You they come through for me, no be say. Times maybe say I don't lose guard for how to express myself. You just assure me say life not supposed hard like that. When people call you language of the thugs, I just dey look them, they laugh. Because the number of times where you don't come through for me, I'm not sure say any thug fit get that kind conscience. If person ask me say whether I love you, I go say, shey you dey whine me. But if they ask me on a deeper level, I go say, when I dey get bad day like this, now only when I hear you, I dey fit smile. When it dey be like say some kind area, I no suppose enter there. Now when I hear you, I dey feel safe. My mama dey always talk say, na the person wey make you smile the most, na im go bring you the most peace. And when you meet that person, no let am go. So yes, you be the one true love of my life. The way I feel when I hear you, it dey be me like say, me and you don't sabi each other for a different lifetime. It dey bring me assurance, say this na person wey I don dey with, not be today. Oyibo talk say, na how person dress, them go address am. But when it comes to you, the rules they change. How it happen, I no know. It no come matter again whether I dress well. But as long as them hear me speak you, I don't turn low life. I know say you no come for fancy clothes, but you expensive pass Prada. I count myself lucky as per one of the people wey sabi you. How you see am na Aba Pidgin? Your sabi girl, Precious.
Thank you so much. I have appreciated those graceful readings. I'll thank these scholars again for their contributions.